Sorry I missed you last Monday. Drop attendance.
Ooh, thank you. I'm just sitting here.
Drop the attendance in the chat if you guys want to go ahead and take your attendance so we know your presence is here. Go ahead and get on the slides. Saw a bunch of you guys had been on there already, so.
They are doing good.
We're at 7 o'clock, so it is time to get started. We are going to start with Kathy tonight. Kathy Hay is here to visit with you about the class and the work, and she has some things that she wants to tell you about. So Kathy?
Hey, thank you. Hi, everybody. Now I'm kind of maybe putting a face to the emails you've received just as reminders, and it's just going to be quick here. There are 3 outside assignments beyond the participation this summer and in these Zoom cohorts, or if you were at the Saturday cohorts, they all count. There are 3 assignments. I just want to remind you, if you've signed up for credit, and that's both licensure renewal and grad credit, and there's 2, you're getting 2 of each, depending on which you chose. And there are 3 assignments. One is the implementation plan, and I think you probably did that this summer. It's just making a copy, uploading it for me. It's just how are you planning on implementing either principles or discoveries into your school classroom? So that's one of them. The second one is the curriculum supports, and you've been doing those all along. I hope you've been keeping track of them. It might be a screenshot of a bulletin board you've made to support students in either one. It might be a quiz. If you're using like Kahoot or a booklet, just get me a screenshot of one of the questions you used, because by the time you get me linked into your classroom, I don't need to do that. That's my granddaughter. She doesn't like grandma being gone, if you can hear her there. The last one is the longest one. It's the journal entries for the units that you're teaching. Also, if you don't teach all of the units, you just go ahead and answer the questions as though you were teaching them. And you can also use information that's been shared at your Zooms or cohorts. So they're not real hard. They're due the end of April. They're in Canvas. If you're still not in Canvas, but I think we have everybody now probably, please email me at that khay@aea1.k12.ia.us. Anybody have any questions?
Kathy, is it possible for you to just put your email in the chat box?
Sure.
I missed that. I apologize.
Oh, no, that's all right. That'd be fine.
I got it, I think.
You have it, Allison? Yep, there it is.
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, so don't hesitate to give me an email if you have a question. Thanks, everybody. Good luck. Tonight's the last of these classes, so you're getting real close to the end. And thanks for sharing and teaching computer science to our kids in Iowa. They need you. Bye-bye.
All right, so welcome to the last Monday meeting. Yay, Natalie says. We're excited too. So if you have not taken attendance, it's here on the slide deck. I think that Allison has dropped it into chat as well. So you can get it there. Make sure to get your attendance taken. Tonight, we are going to reflect on our equity journey. If you remember, we had that little round chart that we're going to talk about a little bit. We're going to review where we've been, look where we're going. We are going to connect to the community, and then we're going to have the wrap up, and then Samantha will have, or Allison will have something for us at the end. So remember our norms, just to create a respectful and productive place. We want to be present. Couple hours here tonight. We'll get that all wrapped up. Make space to take space. So if you have something that is taking your attention, go ahead and kind of move away, take some space, make some space so that we can concentrate on this. Seek to understand, take risks, and then expect and accept that non-closure, which is probably the hardest part of what we are asking you to do here is just, there's always going to be a point where you're going to want a little more, but we're not going to have time, or it's not in what we're supposed to be doing. So you just have to accept that some things are going to be left a little open. Excuse me, I'm just getting over COVID and bronchitis. So I have a little cough lagging on here. So forgive me for that. All right, so in your asynchronous work, you were looking at different CS communities that anybody can engage in after this year. Of course, we always have this. If you remember way back at the beginning, we did a slideshow of who's in the room. And so there's information on that you can go and get people's emails and everything that you can still engage with us as well. Reviewing the structure and content of the AP multiple choice exam. So you should have seen that there'll be 70 questions. There'll be some multiple choice. There'll be some that'll have an excerpt with it and they'll have to choose. There'll be some where they choose more than one answer. And then a couple short answers. So, oops, sorry. Considering what content and skills students need to know to be successful on the exam. And so we're going to kind of go visit that in a minute. And then reviewing AP resources to help your students prepare for the exam. And so I've been playing out in the AP classroom and finding all that stuff. And my students are really starting to get a little more serious in their actions. At semester, we did have a couple students leave that weren't doing the AP, so that has kind of helped my class as well. Hopefully you guys have had some other strategies that you've seen come in. So let's take a few minutes to review the plans that everyone created. You can find everyone's plans on slides 4 through 55. So if you go back and look at what everybody has, feel free to use the chat as a back channel to ask questions, pull out ideas, or maybe even just comment for something that you may want to talk about in a few minutes. So I'll give you about 3-4 minutes to go look at those slides. All right, we'll split the difference and go 3.5 minutes here. So what ideas did you take from seeing others' plans? And what questions do you still have about preparing students for the AP exam? So I see Erin said she's noticing some common themes about vocabulary and practice exams. And I know with my students, reviewing that vocabulary right now has been really important because they're like, oh yeah, I do remember talking about that, or I don't quite remember what that was. And so review on the vocabulary is major. Other comments?
And I guess not only, like, as I kept going through them, not only the practice, but like the expectations and the scoring rubrics component of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, going up, knowing what's going to be expected on them, what they're going to have to do, looking at how others were scored, is definitely all going to really help them get an idea of where they need to go. Stamina was a good suggestion. Yeah, you need to prepare your students for a 2-hour test because they are not used to that. 40 minutes is about all my students can do right now. So have you guys been on the AP Classroom and set up like a 70-question test or anything for them? If you are going to do the AP. So I did that for the first time and it took my students 2 class periods plus some time on their own to get it done. But it's really cool how they have it set up now. So are there any questions about preparing your students?
I guess, Debbie, I would ask you from your experience, when they went through that practice for the first time, what were some of the big takeaways? Because we're not going to do that in our class this year. I just feel like I'm learning so much on my own still that I don't feel like I'm adequately preparing anybody for an AP test. I'd just be curious to know what your takeaway was from doing the practice test with kids.
Again, I think hitting that vocabulary, going back and getting some of those words from early in the year is important. And then there's questions about visualizing how code runs. And so I know there's been a couple of those on the check for understanding on the code.org stuff, but if you can pull any of that out and have students kind of read through that, because that's a big thing they want to make sure that the students understand when they see it, what's actually going to happen in it. Natalie, do you have anything that you've seen from yours?
We don't do the AP test right now.
Well, this is my first time. So those are the 2 things I picked up on. Okay.
However, if I may add there, I do use the rubric to grade their apps. So when they complete a project, I use elements from that so they get used to how it could be graded.
Yeah, discussing it with them so that they know. Yep, that's really good. Other ideas or questions? All right, so we're going to reflect on our equity journey. And so looking back, you may remember that we have touched several times on this chart, the cycle of equity and developing our stages for ourselves in our classroom. So understanding self, understanding the context, understanding responsibilities, understanding barriers and opportunities, and making and pursuing commitments. So if you can remember, we kind of talked about some of those unknown biases that we may have based on past experiences and that information. And then we talked about being scared to teach this and all kinds of other things that may create a barrier for us that we may pass on to our students. And then more recently, we really started talking about making a commitment on what we wanted to do. And if you remember, we had the house with the foundation and the walls and the roof that we talked about. So I want you to think for a couple minutes. What has been your favorite part about engaging with this journey, either during workshops or in your own classroom with your students? And which steps still bring up feelings of apprehension, anxiety, and doubt? So go ahead and take a couple minutes to think about that. You can make some notes if you want to. We are going to put you into the breakout rooms in a couple minutes to talk about this, but I'm going to let you gather your thoughts. So as you think about it, think about where you started, where you are now. We've covered a whole lot of ground here. So hopefully you've seen yourself grow. Maybe your students have helped you grow. That's even an important part that you might want to discuss. So Allison is going to put you into groups. You're going to get about 6 minutes to discuss with people in your room these 2 questions, and we'll come back together and talk a little bit more.
The nice
All
part
right.
is
I'm sorry. What was that,
the
John?
nice part is we have early outs on Tuesday and Thursday with nothing, but
That's
we
right.
had a long day today.
Does make it that way. So. All right, welcome back, everybody. So looking at ourselves, our content, responsibilities, barriers, opportunities, all of that, it kind of gets complex, and you don't realize all that's going to be involved when you sign up for teaching this, other than you may not know it and are nervous, and then you find out all this other stuff is involved in it. So we're not looking for you to be perfect at this. We want you to be the lead learner. And we just want you to strive to work toward that, because there's always going to be something where we can have a little more growth going on. Was there anything that anybody heard that they might want to share with anybody? Okay.
Well, for our
So,
group, oh, sorry.
okay.
Well, for our group, it was kind of one of the concerns is kind of like what to do next. We're all kind of in a little different places with that, but it was a big consensus. Like, now we have this done. Okay, what classes should we offer next, and how does that look going forward?
And so I was kind of like that, and I haven't actually taken the step up, and our school hasn't asked me to take a step up to have other classes. I know that code.org has the CSA that they're actually training on and offering. Natalie's going to be taking that this summer. So that might be something to look at, a cybersecurity type thing. because that's becoming a huge market that students are looking at and wanting to go into. So that could be something to look at as well. Who did we do that with over the summer? We did some cybersecurity stuff. Allison. Maryland?
Yeah, Maryland has their like Maryland Institute. They've got a AI, and then there's cyber.org has professional development as well.
So if you're wanting to venture past that, those are also some places to look. Other things, I don't mean to cut you off short, but I don't want to dwell on this either.
Allison just mentioned cyber.org. I've used a variety of their resources in the past. It's really nice. Everything's set up in Canvas, and so you can kind of pick and choose units out of whole courses that they have. I just found that that curriculum set up to be really nice. So just a plug for cyber.org.
Who did they used to be?
They used to be, oh, now it's gone.
Yeah, because I've used them too, and I didn't recognize cyber.org, but when you started talking, it's like, oh yeah, because I did their bots and stuff.
Yep.
Is AICS what you were thinking of? Does that sound right? Mm-mm. We'll find it.
Okay, so if you remember, not Monday, but the session before, we were looking at commitments. We talked about values being our foundation, and then we have the walls, the support, and the measurements to track the progress, and then of course the roof, which kind of holds it all together. And if you remember, we asked you to fill that in. We spent some time coming up with some thoughts and ideas. What we're going to do here is we're going to revisit the commitments. We're not going to do this to grade ourselves or to do any of this, but to kind of look at our progress and to see, you know, is there something we need to refine? Are we still working on what we wanted to? Have we ventured away from it? So these are some prompts that we want you to think about. What supports have you used to help you work towards your commitments? And what measurements to track the progress have you noted so far? So what we're going to do is we're going to give you 3 minutes to think about this, and we're going to put you back in your groups that you were in, and we're going to give you 6 minutes to share with your group how you think you are doing as far as your commitments. So go ahead and take about 3 minutes to think about this. And then at the end of 3 minutes, I will have Allison put you back in your workout rooms. And if you look, Allison has shared the link to where you might find your commitment.
Side note, I found it. NYSERC is what they used to be.
That's it. Thank you, Erin.
Thanks, Erin. All right, so that's been about 3 minutes. So Allison is going to put you back into your groups. Share out some of your thoughts on your commitments and the measurements, and maybe even if you see you need to make some changes.
Debbie, is it groups for 6 minutes again?
Yes, 6 minutes. All right, so hopefully you had some good conversation in your room about those commitments and how you've worked on them, how you've been tracking them. As I alluded to earlier and kind of talked about that sometimes you may have to change your commitments a little bit to make them more realistic or to reflect where you are at that current stage. In my mind, I think about it like when you are driving down the road with your GPS going and a road is closed or something and you got to make that turn and it kind of reroutes. So we're kind of rerouting here sometimes on our commitments. So I know it says 5 minutes, but since we already kind of started thinking about this, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to kind of, again, think about what you talked about in your groups, and maybe you heard something that you might want to add to your commitments or a tracking method or something. So I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to go ahead and maybe revise what you have, and then we'll do some share outs. All right, first I want to apologize to Matt because I didn't see your message. I have asked Allison if maybe she can help you with that one. So after going back and looking at your commitments and thinking about where you have gone since then and talking with others, does anybody have anything that they may have updated theirs, revised theirs somehow, something that they want to share? All right. Oh,
Sorry,
no, that's
my
good.
mic wasn't working. So mine was confidence, and we were talking about how we would talk to the students more, I guess. Like give them feedback more. Sorry. And we talked about breaking it up so that way we're only talking or giving feedback to like 4-ish students a day instead of every single student a day. So that way by the end of the week, we would at least hit everyone once. And I haven't been very good about that. I started out good and then kind of trickled just because of all the stuff, that goes on. So I thought about changing it to these projects with the steps that they have. Each step, since they all get done at different times, each step they would come and meet with me to get approval to move on to the next step. So that's where we would like have the discussions on, are there any confusions that we can do or that we can fix and stuff like that. And I can give them their feedback there and then and there.
Nice. So many individual conferences. And I like the idea of working with them when they get done and helping them before they move forward to clear up anything that they may have a problem on. That's awesome. Anybody else have something or hear something that they liked? Okay, if not, I am going to turn you over to Natalie, and she is going to visit with you about going forward.
Good evening, everyone. How are you today? We are very happy that you're here. It's Monday. Mondays are always hard, but today is our last time together. It's our grand finale. That's what I was telling Debbie. It's our grand finale. So we really appreciate all the time that you have dedicated to learning the curriculum and teaching the curriculum with your students. So now going forward, so how does that look like? And I'm going to move here to my slideshow. And what we are going to do is we're going to go back to our breakout rooms here in a little bit, and we'll have 8 minutes to talk about what does your inclusive classroom look and sound like for next year. Now, we could take different approaches here. Maybe you're not teaching this class, so what is your wish list for next fall? Maybe you are teaching the class and you have some tips for all of us who are not teaching it yet, or maybe you are the trainer and you have to think about the kinds of supports that you're going to be providing in your building. Maybe you are an instructional coach, so you want to start thinking about the standards and how assessment is going to look like and communication with the student, feedback. So we would like for you to keep those in mind. There is a slide for each breakout room. So as you go into your breakout rooms, look at the room number so you can enter your thoughts in the right slide. So we'll have Allison go ahead and give everybody a room, and we'll give you 8 minutes to think about this question and add your wish list. Thank you so much. We were looking at some of your common themes as you were typing. We have collaboration tables, we have guest speakers, everyone participating, recruitment, bringing in all kinds of abilities into the classroom, having empathy for our students, home lives, co-teaching, celebrating success, access to Wi-Fi. So there's a lot of good materials on the slides. So at this moment, what we would like you to do is to take a couple of minutes to just do the gallery walk and see something that really you identify with, something that you would like to have in your classroom and bring in right away tomorrow, or a goal for this fall. So we're going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. Then after that, what we want you to do is to take one of those ideas and enter that in the chat, and we can do that all at the same time, and we flood the chat room and crash the system. I'm teaching cybersecurity in the morning, so as I was thinking that, I thought, oh, we should just do that in class even, so the students see how an attack of flooding the server looks like. So we'll let you know. I'll count here in a little bit. And thank you so much for all that information you entered. Great ideas. Okay, are we ready? Let's do this. Let's see that chat getting all flooded with comments and goals and dreams and hopes. So let's do this in 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead. See 7. There you go. Come on. We're like 58, 9, 10. Make it fun. Yes. Recruitment. Encouragement. Excellent. Advertise. Diversity. Lead learner. Absolutely. And that one is one that we have to always consider for ourselves as teachers. For some of us, this is completely new, and we are going to be out of our comfort zone. So being forgiving of the mistakes we might make in the journey, that's very important. More laughing, absolutely. Students helping students, awesome. So we would like for you to look over all these ideas. Wonderful. 2 more coming in. Open and honest about needing help and willingness to help each other. Absolutely. We are going to have students who know more than we do. And so using that potential and that leadership in the classroom and saying, hey, I love your idea. Why don't you go ahead and explain to the class how you solve this? That's great. And as teachers, at the end of the day, that's what we want to see. So if there's someone who wants to go ahead and explain something to the class, that's something that we need to feel is okay to do. Awesome. Teamwork. And I have noticed some of my students struggle working as a team, and we have to teach them that and model that. In a team, we have different assignments. We are in charge of different things. We collaborate, we communicate, and all those life skills that sometimes they don't have, and we have to teach them that. Excellent. Amazing. There's one more message. Adding an additional class in addition to the one we have now. Awesome. Due to capacity. Yes. And working with your counselors and that master schedule is very important. I always say it, I have to compete with band and show choir. So, but I sometimes say, well, at least I have my class, thank you. But I wish it would be at a different time so I could have more people. So absolutely. So as you think of that, our next slide says, consider using the frame of I used to think and now I think. So last Saturday when we were with another group, a teacher said, I used to think teaching this was going to be super difficult. And now I think I can do this. So think about a statement that might be applicable to you in your practice, something that maybe you're doing right now, even if you're not teaching computer science. But as you become familiar with the curriculum and the resources available, we would like for you again to enter one thought in the chat. I used to think, and now I think. So give you about 10 seconds. And then again, I'll count. 1, 2, and 3. Go. Let's see that chat. 1 comment. Yes, computer science is so much more. Yes, yes, you can do this. Absolutely. Computer science complicated. And you may find that it is your new passion, and it's something that you might tell yourself, I should have started this earlier in life. And that's my personal experience. I always liked it, but life took me on a different journey, and I am so happy to be back with my first love, computer science. A little late in life, but hey, it's never late to learn something new and to explore something new and make some mistakes too. Yes, I used to think that I couldn't do this, but now I know I can. Excellent. Yes, all students will benefit. And you see the eyes. I have special ed students that were reluctant and they thought they will not be, that my class will not be a good fit for them. And they participate and they raise their hands and collaborate. And I am so happy to see them leaving my classroom with a smile. And a couple of days ago, one of them said, well, you know, you're number 2 on my list of favorite teachers. And I'm like, yes, I can do number 2. I started being not even the favorite one the first day because they thought it was too difficult. This is too difficult. But then they said, I think I can do this. And that's really what we want, for them to take the opportunity and give themselves the opportunity to explore something completely new. Empowering, yes, amazing. So thank you so much. This is awesome. So I really encourage you to read the chat and see all these amazing comments. Great. So this slide, I really like this one in particular, this section, because someone wrote in our pre-survey for the workshop, creating a network and how to do that. So this is all about that. We really hope that you stay in touch. And again, I encourage you to enter your email in the chat if you want to share your contact information to continue having that communication, but really feel free to reach out to us. We're always available. And in my case, if you have any Spanish speaking students, I love to help with that collaboration. I'm sure we can do some amazing videos together. So I'll be more than happy to be the translator. So really, really reach out everybody in this group. The idea for us is that we have ways to share our learning. Another thing is we have access, I have it right here. There is a forum for Code.org, and there many teachers around the country post questions and comments on different practices and activities they do in the classroom. So you can see here fundamentals, CS discoveries, principles, and CS in algebra. I was like, oh, that's like a dream come true right there. I wish I could teach something like that. CS in science, and you have 2 resources in Spanish right here. So Fundamentos de Ciencias de la Computación, that is CSP, and then Hora del Código, that is your hour of code. So there are things there that you can explore. As for our resources. Also, another really cool thing, and I discovered this like 2 weeks ago. Here's your teacher community, but this one, CS Journeys, amazing. When you click there, you have access to all these recordings with professionals. And I went ahead and registered for the upcoming one with him. And it's right at the time I have my class. Actually, I think it's this Wednesday, and he's a software engineer. And so I'm just going to play it there in the class. But the cool thing is that there is a library of recordings. So this is like brand new and I love it. So really, really check this out. Careers, CTE, like I'm thinking I need to share this with my CTE people. Monthly discussions for young women by young women. So a lot of nice stuff. I haven't checked out the virtual trips, but that'd be something that you can explore too. So all kinds of goodies there for us. So far, what have we done all this time, all this a little bit over a semester? So we went over the 10 units in Code.org. Again, highly recommend Unit 10. It's a really nice hook to get people thinking on cybersecurity issues and ethics. We looked at CSP with an equitable lens. We brainstormed solutions to challenges and learned more about the AP exam. But most importantly, we have built our community, and we love to collaborate, so don't hesitate to reach out. There are 2 links here for you to explore. We have the expanded learning program, and Allison may add a little bit more on this here in a little bit. And the resources with CSTA Iowa, if you're starting your journey, this is the place to go. I have this in my email. I read this every day, the newsletter they send out. A lot of good things, a lot of good ideas, a lot of nice workshops too. And I'm always registering to everything just to listen as I drive or when I'm working on something else. So those are really good resources. For our final discussion, so during your asynchronous work, you were asked to consider the kind of supports that you will need at your school, your local or national community moving forward. Definitely visit CSTA. What has been helpful this year, or things that you know now that you might need for next year. Could be scheduling, could be technology. Maybe you have Chromebooks, maybe you don't, maybe you need a laptop, but the good thing is that Code.org curriculum works in Chromebooks just fine. Challenges, and there were some of your responses recorded right here in this link, so you feel free to check those out. And we are going to have you join a group again. And this time, this is going to be for 4 minutes, and share your thoughts on the previous questions, and even what can you offer to the community, or what supports do you think we can provide you as you start your journey. So Allison, if you could please create our groups and give them 4 minutes. Stage 1.
Hey, Natalie.
Too excited for me.
Hey, you even did it. 2 cohorts your first year.
Okay. Do I have everybody? Not everybody's back. I think everybody's back. Okay, so this is it. I was telling them this is my last slide. I graduate this year too, just like you guys. So I would like a couple of volunteers to just share on those 2 questions, and we can proceed to the wrapping up of this session tonight. And there are some commercials that Allison is going to share with us, and Debbie is going to close the session for us. Before you share, I want to say thank you again so much for being with us, and thank you for working with me and doing your best to work with my accent. And I appreciate everything that you do for students, and you are changing lives every time you teach computer science and you teach your subjects. We know how hard this job is and all the obstacles that we have, but you are the driving force for change. You are creating the future. So thank you so much for everything. And 2 volunteers to close my participation this year. So I'm all ears.
I always like going first to get it done. I just want to say thanks. I like the accent. It's a lot better than boring Iowans. But the other thing that I think is really great that I appreciate is the opportunity for follow-up in the summer, the like expanded learning. Because I feel like sometimes you just need to process and get away from it, and then you kind of can come back, and there's at least an option, and it gives people they can or they don't have to, and I'm thankful for it. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'll throw in a plug, Natalie. So
Thank you.
Your local AEAs are always there to support you with your CS or technology or whatever it may be ongoing throughout the year. We also have contacts. If we don't have the answers, we can help you find the answers, but we're always there to collaborate, co-teach, or walk alongside you as you start these endeavors or continue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think now I proceed to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to hand it over to Debbie. So thank you, guys.
All right, so we have made it to the end. We are at the wrap up. I am looking at the parking lot. I got to start my music here. All right, I'm looking at the parking lot. I see no questions out here in the parking lot. We are so glad that you guys endured with us. We enjoyed spending our time with you. If you will navigate to slide number 99, you will see that there is the module 8 post survey, your last survey, as we are on this momentous graduation. We thank you so much for all that you do for your students, for taking on something that you may not have been comfortable with, for putting in your time and effort to learn it, and just to put yourself out there and become a lead learner. I see Allison has also dropped the survey in chat. So with that being said, I am going to turn the floor over to Allison.
All right, I just have a few final announcements and reminders and a big congratulations. Thank you to all of you for sticking with us this year. We know it's a commitment. We know it's been a hard year. So thank you again to all of you. We appreciate what you're doing for students. Like Kathy and Natalie and Debbie all said today, you make a difference and you need to hear that too. What your work is important. So congratulations. A note for a few of you were in our discoveries cohort in past years, so we kept this in here, but if you had Heidi as one of your facilitators before, we just had this slide in here to thank her. She is moving on to a new role with Mid-American as a corporate trainer. She was a great facilitator and we will miss having her on our code.org team, but also wish her the best of luck in her future endeavors. Like Kathy said, if you signed up for AEA credit, don't forget to complete those assignments. You have until the end of April, and reach out to any of us if you have questions on what those look like and how to get them submitted. Or like she said too, if this is just not the year, let her know. She's very generous in making sure that you get your refund for that class. Stipends, don't forget to submit your last one for tonight. Again, always remember there's the travel and the per diem. I think all of you are pros at this point, but do make sure you put in that last bit of your last portion. For upcoming computer science professional development opportunities. So going off of Natalie and Debbie's theme for this module, what could you do next? The first one on here, if you are going to miss having something taking up your Monday nights, starting next week, we have a free cohort on artificial intelligence in the classroom. It just meets an hour and a half, so not always quite as late, and it's just 4 times. It's a much smaller group. It's on how could you incorporate AI into your classroom? What does it mean? How does it work? And what are some free tools you could use with students to talk about it? It's a very laid back group, so if you're interested, feel free to sign up, check it out the first time, see if you want to continue or not. Also on this list, we do have an expanded learning program, which is an opportunity to meet up virtually with people that have been through this cohort the past 5 years, talk through different changes, learning about new strategies, and just a chance for you to continue that community. So that is with other educators in the Midwest, but you'll see people from your own cohort too. Project Guts is on this list. It is a middle school science and computer science curriculum, and it is on the scale up list for this year, so there's funding for it. Near the end of July will be our training for that one. Cyber.org was brought up earlier as well. We are looking at organizing an Iowa cohort the week of July 18th. That one would be in person, but they also have virtual trainings as well. So check out their website. And then I also included a link to the application for the July 18th week. We're still working on details for that one, but we wanted to be able to include an in-person option for those people that would like to do it. Tiny Techies would be for your colleagues that teach preschool or early childhood, getting them to teach computational thinking early. And then the last one on the list is CSA. If you're looking for another class to follow principles, this is another option for high school students, and there is funding through the state to help support that one. Lots on that list. Do keep this slide deck and we can send an email, post email too with all of these opportunities too. Also, like it was mentioned today, please join CSTA Iowa. There's no commitment, no cost, but we'd love to have you there, and you can join on the months that it works just to be able to connect and ask questions and learn more. And then when it doesn't work, that's always understood too, but it is a nice way to talk and meet up with other people. With that, there is a meeting Thursday night. This one, our friends from iTech are going to be sharing some good strategies on how to include Pear Deck in a computer science classroom, as well as the Southeast STEM Hub manager is going to go through all of the scale up programs that are computer science related and how you could use or apply for those. And there's also always a license renewal credit option if you participate within CSTA Iowa. So that's an option out there too. The state RFP is available. This is funding through the state to support the K-12 implementation requirements. The principles discoveries, which is our middle school code.org program, and then fundamentals is the elementary, is all an eligible program to be able to connect with or continue. So if you have other teachers in your district that are wanting to go through professional learning, there's funding out there to support them to do it. And then lastly, thank you to our sponsors for helping support this workshop. Thank you to all of you for being here, and thank you to Debbie and Natalie for all of their work and preparation. It takes a lot to come in each week and continue to share with us. So thank you for their help and work as well. With that, I'll be done talking. Hopefully I talked long enough that you were all able to get your stipends and your survey done. And now we can wave goodbye. But we'll be on for a few minutes if anybody has questions. And thank you again.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your year.